Have you ever thought about serving our city by volunteering on one of our many boards, committees, or commissions? Joining me now to talk about this important service to our community and why you should get involved is Laverne Brooks and DeWarren Langley. Laverne is with the Office of the City Clerk, which recruits for the boards and committees and commissions, and DeWarren is chairman of the Citizens Advisory Committee. Welcome, Laverne and DeWarren. Thank you so much for joining me today.
Thank you.
All right. Laverne, let's talk a little bit about what your office does. I know you publicize the vacancies and actually recruit for these positions on the various boards and committees and commissions. How many boards are actually available to residents, and what kinds of issues do they typically oversee?
Well, thank you for having me, Beverly. I'm glad to be here. We currently have 25 boards that citizens can participate on, and they range from various issues like ending homelessness, issues like the transportation system, improving this transportation system, dealing with recreation issues, improving our recreation areas, and then performing arts. If you, issues dealing with the performing arts center.
So they're pretty broad.
Various, very broad. Yes.
So what is the role of the boards towards setting policy or making recommendations to City Council? And basically, how important are they to the role of government?
Well, it's very important. These boards are very important to the city because it's like it gives citizens a chance to actually give advice and recommendations to the city council and to the city manager. And so it's sort of like looking at it as citizens can partner to make Durham really a great place to work, live, and play. So it's very important.
You know, and a lot of people don't realize how vital this role is, and that they can even get involved.
That's right.
So this is a great way for them to show their community spirit and actually support our government. DeWarren, I know you serve as chairman of one of those boards, and you served on 2 other boards recently, or you still do actually.
Yes.
Yeah. Now, what motivated you actually to become involved in this manner?
As a lifelong resident of Durham, I think we all have a responsibility in making our city the greatest place possible to live, work, and play. And we do that by participating, whether we're volunteering or serving on one of the many boards, commissions, and committees of the city of Durham. And I feel as if, as a resident, it's very important to positively contribute to the growth and development of the community.
Is it a large investment of your time? I mean, does it take a lot of time to play this role?
I think about 4 to 5 hours a month is about the amount of time that it takes to really participate and really get involved in one of these commissions.
And that includes any kind of research that you have to do, or is it just participating in the meetings?
As chair, my responsibility is to work with the Department of Community Development to develop our agenda, as well as communicate that information to the members of the Citizens Advisory Committee. And the committee works with the Department of Community Development on issues of affordable housing and community development. We also help with the entitlement money that the city receives through the U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development. Each year the city receives community development block grant funding, emergency solutions grant funding, and home investment partnership funding, and we review the applications that the city receives and make annual recommendations to the city council and city manager. Okay.
Now, what would you say to your fellow residents who, you know, are debating whether or not they should apply for a position or even get involved? And I mean, what would you tell them about this way of getting involved in city life?
Participation in these committees is not only beneficial to the city, but it's also a great way to learn a lot about how the city goes about developing policies and programs and where different funding sources come from to do the great work that we see here in the city of Durham. One great example is the Southside Redevelopment project, where we see a lot of great activity going on in the former Hayti community, and that's something that the CAC receives monthly updates on, and we actually give advice on different things that are going on with the development. So it's not only just an opportunity to serve the city, it's also an opportunity to learn about different things that are going on within our community.
Now, I know a lot of people who've served on boards and commissions in, well, previously, they've gone on to political life. Is this like a good primer for that, or just a way to get involved?
I think it's a great way of getting involved. Whether that public service turns into public office is something that I think a person has to evaluate for themselves. And that's a question that I continue to question and and ask myself is whether this will eventually lead to public office, and whether it does or does not, I continue to plan to be heavily involved in my community to make it the greatest city possible.
I was going to ask you if you were going to give us a scoop today about your future plans.
Well, my plan is to continue to be a wonderful volunteer and asset to making Durham the greatest place possible for all residents.
Sounds spoken like a true politician. Okay. Thanks, DeWarren. Laverne, now that our viewers are engaged and want to get involved, how do they go about doing that?
Okay, well, they need to fill out an application and submit it to the city clerk's office. And the only thing that I would say is that the application is active only at the time of a vacancy.
Okay.
But that's real simple. You know, a lot of people feel like, oh, it's so hard, I got to do this, but it's that simple.
Okay. Well, let's talk about some of the minimum criteria that are needed to be appointed to a board or commission.
Basically, you need to live in the city of Durham. And the second thing is you need to have your city and county taxes have to have no delinquency on them. So they got to be paid. And that's basically it. Now, there are some boards where they have county designated seats, and you can live in the county. But basically, it's city residency and no delinquent taxes.
And the council actually makes the appointments for most of these boards.
Right.
Or actually
Correct.
all of them. Okay.
Correct. Yes.
All right. Now, if our viewers want to learn more about the available boards or see a listing of the boards and commissions, how do they do that?
Well, they need to visit our website.
Okay.
And they need to go to boards and committees. And then there is a part where it says current vacancies. They need to look at that, and that'll show you what's open now. And then fill out, the application can be downloaded and send it into our office, or they can call our office at 560-4166.
Okay.
And we'll send a copy of the vacancies.
All right. Great information. Thank you so much. And
Thank you.
Warren, you sure you don't want to give us a scoop on anything?
There are no scoops.
No scoops here. Okay. All right. Thank you guys so
Thank
much
you
for
very
spending time with me
Thank you for
today.
having us.